Have you ever seen day trading strategies online and wonder, do these actually work? Well, I'm here to answer that question for you. My name is Alex, and what I do is I take popular day trading strategies or entire courses, I turn them into day trading bots so I can automate what is taught in those strategies and I can see with software if they actually work. Not only that, but I'm going to show you exactly how I automate these strategies so you can do so too. Anytime you find a YouTube video and you're wondering to yourself, does this actually work? Well, you can turn it into a bot and find out for yourself. I got started in day trading May 1st, 2021. That puts me at about almost 5 years into this. And like many of you, I started with crypto. I remember the very first course I bought was Krypton by Cameron Foose, which I will also be automating soon, but that's not what we're talking about today. Around that time, I was on YouTube, like many of you, looking for day trading strategies for crypto, and I came across this channel. So today, we're gonna revisit the past a little bit, and I'm gonna see if this strategy actually holds up once I automate it. Seeing it has so many views, I'm sure a lot of people have tried the strategy out, or maybe are even still using it. So let's code it up, automate it, and see if it actually holds up, or if it's just fluff. Let's go. The strategy we're gonna be looking at today is from the YouTube channel MoneyZG. He seems to be posting quite a lot of crypto style trading strategies, and seems to have been doing so for a minute. So this video is called $100 a day crypto trading strategy for beginners, in parentheses, crypto scalping strategy. All right, so the thing is this, I have tried some of these strategies myself when I first started. However, I didn't have the experience to really know anything. This was like way when I first started trading. So, you know, being 5 years into it at this point, it's time to revisit the past a little bit. So what's gonna happen is this. I'm gonna look at this video. I'm gonna then explain the rules to you so we're all on the same page with exactly how this strategy works. Then I will code it up and I will show you exactly how I do that without any coding knowledge whatsoever. Then we're gonna hop on a chart and see if this thing works. Trade it perfectly by a bot. All right, let's go. And we are back. All right, so I'm gonna break down this strategy for you one rule at a time, so then we are all on the same page and we can start getting to work. So the first thing he wants you to do is look at the bigger picture, not just jump into the trades, right? So that means find out what the long-term trend is, find out what the medium-term trend is. Rule number 2, he wants you to put 3 moving averages on the chart. The 3 moving averages are the 5, the 8, and the 13. Rule number 3, he wants you to jump on the 5-minute time frame, and this is where you're gonna be taking your entries. He says the 5 moving average matters the most, and he wants that one to move above the other 2 moving averages, and that's your entry trigger. Rule 5, put the stop loss below support. In regards to the TP, he's going with a fixed take profit. He says around 0.5 to 1%. The second option he gave was to use the trailing stop to trail your profits. And that's it. There's a few things that he didn't talk about in this video, which is kind of a shame. Like, he didn't specify when he's trading, right? Are we London session, New York session, Sydney session, Tokyo session, whatever. He didn't specify that. So we're gonna be programming a few things in so we can see what the best time to trade this strategy is. And he didn't go over taking shorts at all. He said to stick to buys if you're a beginner, but if you are intermediate or advanced, go short as well using the same strategy. Well, here's the thing. We're not beginners. We're gonna be programming in both ways. We're gonna be taking longs and we're gonna be taking shorts. That way we can find out if taking buys is more profitable than taking sells, or if it's more profitable to take both. All right, this one's pretty simple. Let's jump into it. So the first thing I did is I took the transcript from the video we just watched and I ran it through ChatGPT. I then asked ChatGPT to break down the exact rules of this strategy and every nuance to make this as objective as possible. No, we're not going to be using ChatGPT to program this, but I want as much detail about the strategy as possible, and I want to know if there's anything subjective in there, because you cannot program subjective things. You're not going to get the same results as what's being taught. So we need this as objective as possible. If this, then that, because that's how bots work. When they see a certain thing happen on the chart, then they react in a certain way. I also want to give the strategy the best chance of working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few filters that we can turn on and off to see if the strategy actually has a chance of working. The first thing I'm going to add is a session filter. Like I had previously said, I can choose when the bot trades, or if they're all off, it just trades all day long. The second thing, I think for the stop loss, instead of using support, I think I want to go with an ATR trailing stop. In my experience, that's one of the best stop losses you can have when building any sort of bot. We got the rules, let's jump into the actual software and get this thing coded up. Alright, so what we got here is Roboquant.dev. What this is an AI specifically made to make trading strategies and indicators. You can do a lot more than that. That's one of its main functions. So this is going to do a lot better of a job than just using something like ChatGPT, which isn't specifically made for trading strategies. I used to use ChatGPT when I started learning to code this stuff like 2 years ago, and I can tell you it's quite frustrating. This grabs from a knowledge base of already existing codes, and the co-creator of this, Tim Hutter, has a very long-standing track record in the day trading community for making some of the most profitable trading bots out there. All right, so we're gonna jump into the AI. We're gonna code this thing up, and let me do this. I'm going to take the template that we did earlier. I'm going to copy and paste every single thing that's in the template, which isn't that long. I'm going to paste it into right here. So now it knows exactly what the strategy is, what the name is, all this stuff, right? All right, so now that we copy and pasted all the rules into the AI, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have it plan everything out. We chose TradingView because that's what we're going to be making this strategy for. We can choose Python, MetaTrader, NinjaTrader, all different types of languages here. And then for the AI, instead of going with something like Opus or GPT, which are fantastic, we're going to go with the basic Roboquant AI, which is the default AI for this platform. And we're going to have it plan the strategy out. And just like that, it started working on this strategy already without me doing anything. And again, one of my favorite things about Roboquant.dev is the validate feature. If you ever tried to code anything on GPT or other AIs, you'll probably know that when you copy and paste the code into TradingView, there's going to be errors, there's going to be warnings, then you have to go and copy the error back into your GPT or whatever you were using, and then it has to fix it, and you copy all this back and forth. So what this does is actually connects to TradingView, so then it can fix all of it automatically. It just goes through it and fixes all the warnings, it fixes all the errors until it's done and it loads up on your chart. It's fantastic. And we're back with the completed script. All right, so let's take a look and see if this is actually done correct. Usually it is, and it one-shotted it, meaning I just told it to do it once and it did it. So with that said, I'm on the 5-minute time frame on BTC futures. Let's see. Okay, we got a entry here, and this is for, you got the crossover, just like what was said. Let's see here. Okay, again, you got the crossover, cool. And then on the shorts, we also have that cross. Okay, cool. So it seems to be entering at the right time. That's interesting. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see, what is this? Okay, yep, got the crossover there too. All right, cool. So it seems to be entering at the right time. Let's see what the settings look like. Let's see what it did with that. Okay, contracts 1. Okay, so you got the 5 to 8 and the 13. Ooh, we got the trailing stop. Let's try that out. Let's try the trailing stop instead and see what happens. Let's see how that visualizes on the chart. All right, so now I see the trailing stop as well, which is this purple line right here. You see there's a trade taken right here, and it trails it up. And then as it hits that purple line right here, you can see it actually got taken out. So, yes, this seems to be exactly what we wanted. This is pretty cool. Let's do the higher time frame. Let's do based on the, daily, and we'll do it based on the, let's do a 200 moving average. I like the 200 for an overall high time frame trend. And let's see what it does with this. So it's only taking shorts now. Look at that, really, really cool. And why is that? Because if you look at BTC overall, clearly it's a downtrend, right? It's underneath the 200. It's clearly a downtrend, and it's also taking these trades though on the higher time frame if you wanted to do that. But this is a scalping strategy, so let's stick to the point here. So overall, it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's see what the results look like. Okay, the results are not good. Let's take a years-long result here. The results are actually quite terrible. Within a year, we're down $96,000, risking 1 contract per trade. I mean, literally, I think if we just told the bot to do the complete opposite, we'd have a better result. Okay, so this is garbage, actually. So if you train this strategy, this is not the way to do it. Now, we did have some extra filters that we built in, so let's see what happens if you enable just like this Tokyo session. Let's see how that looks on the chart, and then we might need to adjust that a little bit so we know we're getting the right time, right? All right, so what I just noticed is when I go in to enable the different sessions like Tokyo, London, or New York, there's no verification at all on the chart as to when these sessions are happening based on the indicator. So I'm gonna tell it to make boxes around each session so I know when they are happening. All right, so now that I told it that I would like boxes around each session, now I can go in and see if this is actually correct. So this would be correct for New York time, but I am in Los Angeles, so I'm gonna have to adjust this a little bit. All right, so now that I have all the sessions correctly lined up, now we can see if there's a specific session that might do better than the others, right? Let's try to really make this strategy work, because right now we just saw it does not. So let's see what happens if we turn off New York and London, and the results are still not that good. What if we only trade London? What about that? Oh, a little bit better, but not by much. What about only New York? New York is the worst. Okay. So we know that London might be the best time to trade this, and then I mean we could maybe play around with maybe changing this. There's a lot of ways we could go about this, and this is what brings me to my next point in seeing, can we make this strategy work? Now we could also maybe just, I don't know, choose a different asset altogether. We could choose like the S&P 500 for instance, but we can see even on there it still doesn't work. No matter the time frame, the strategy just isn't, it's just not profitable on most things, right? So, on the 1 hour, a little bit. I mean, still not a great equity curve, you know, like realistically, it's not, but better than it was on the other ones. But again, we can play with the settings. We're gonna stick with the scalping. Let's go a little lower, actually. Now, that's just even worse. Wow. Okay, the whole point is to see whether we should waste our time trading these strategies that we learn on YouTube. Some of them do work. This one seems to not work. There's one more little thing I can do to try my best to get the best result out of this, right? Something that I can do that a lot of you guys probably can't yet is use this optimize button here. I know that's a button that your TradingView probably doesn't have. I have it because I'm using the Roboquant extension for Chrome. And what this does is it allows me to go in to the actual strategy and optimize it. So let me make this as simple as possible. Currently, we're using the 5 moving average as the trigger to get into the trade, correct? Meaning that when the 5 moving average crosses over the other 2, that's the trigger to get into the trade. What if maybe the 6 moving average works better, or the 7 moving average? Well, I could sit here by hand and test all of that, or I could use something like this optimizer. The way it works is this. I can go in, for example, and click fast moving average, because that's the field that I want to change and try different settings on. Now I can go for the minimum. That's the lowest amount we're going to try. So we're going to stick with 5 because that's originally what was taught in the video, the 5 moving average. Let's go all the way to say the 10 moving average, right? That's going to be the absolute maximum. And we're going to go in steps of 1, meaning first we're going to test the 5 moving average, then the 6 moving average, the 7, the 8, the 9, and then the 10 as the trigger for this strategy. So maybe we can find a better moving average trigger to get into a trade, giving us better results. So we could try that out. Let's see how it goes. What's really cool, it's doing all of this completely automatically. I don't have to do anything. I can just kick back and relax, and I can go over all the different settings that I want to try out, and it'll just do it for me. It's really fantastic. I found really good settings for some of my strategies using this tool, because that way I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours sitting here fumbling around with the settings myself trying to get the best combination. It'll do it for me. So sadly, no matter which one of those moving averages we use as a trigger, this strategy just is not profitable. Maybe you can work on this strategy and find a setting that is profitable, but sadly, as it's taught, it just really isn't. The last thing I want to try out really quick, and I can already see it's not working here, is that we're going to try this on Bitcoin USDT, US tethered. And the reason is because I believe that's the exact pair he used in the video, and I just wanted to be as fair as possible and try out the exact pair that he's using. I was using the futures because that would be the more popular thing to trade, especially in 2026. It's still Bitcoin related. However, BTC USDT, it's not getting you any better results at all. So as you can see, even on the exact asset he was trading, this strategy just doesn't work. Sad to see, honestly. I was hoping that this strategy would work, and again, it's one of the first ones I came across, and at the time I didn't know what I was doing. So anyways, let's get to the verdict. All right, so what's the verdict for this strategy and strategies like it? So here's my personal opinion, right? The strategy is very, very simple. It's a moving average strategy, and I know a lot of people still use moving averages. There's nothing wrong with them, and I think especially if you're using them on higher time frames, they can be very, very, very effective even in 2026. However, I think that this strategy isn't really a full strategy. I believe a strategy should have a narrative. There should be a reason why you're doing something. This seems more like criteria just to enter a trade, and I think this could be part of a more complex strategy, or more, not maybe complex, but thought out strategy, a more complete strategy. This to me right now, yeah, this is just a way to get in and out of a trade, and I think you need more than that for a strategy to be profitable, at least in my experience. Now, sometimes you can just get these very simple kind of in and out strategies and they work, but I think when you get those and they work, there's something happening underneath that is a bit more complex, that even if on the surface it doesn't seem that way, it actually is. With that said, this strategy sadly doesn't work. Don't waste your time trading it. If you have any suggestions on what strategy to code next, let me know. If you're interested in coding your own strategies or just coding stuff that you see online to see if you can find a strategy that works for you, sign up for Roboquant.dev. The link is in the description below, so you can sign up and code your own stuff as well. I've coded some profitable strategies of my own. Right now, I'm running 1 month completely free to my Signal group. So pretty much how it works is this. I coded a bot that's very profitable. In the backtest, it did over 100% in a year, and right now, running it on a verified public account that anyone can look at on my effects book. Also, the proof of that is in the description. We're up 16% in about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And because there's so many scammers out here trying to take your money, I said, you know what? I want to prove that my stuff actually works. So not only is it verified where everyone can see every single trade taken on the account, but I'm giving everyone 1 month completely free access to the Signal group. It's a Telegram group that tells you when to get in the trade and when to get out the trade. Every single time there's a setup, that's the notifications you'll get. It trades the New York session from New York Open to 11 a.m. New York time. That's how you know when to be in the Telegram group and wait for the signal. This last week, there was no signal, and that's fine. The week before that, we did really well. I think we put 3% on the account. If you don't trust me, try it on a demo account. You have absolutely nothing to lose. The Signal group is free for a month, and if you're putting it on a demo account, well, you're not losing real money either. But I feel like you're going to be really satisfied with those signals. Let me know who else to code next. Drop me a like, smash that subscribe button, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I will see you next time.